You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez. This is the Hispanic Chamber Connection, and welcome to the big show. We have a great show prepared for you today, and a couple of special guests that I'm sure you'll find fascinating as we do. They are members of the Woodlands-Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but as members of that chamber, they are also members of the Heights, the Galleria, Vintage Park, Katy, Spring, the Woodlands, and Conroe. All those chambers of commerce are part of the family of chambers of commerce that make up the Gulf Coast Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which the new announcement, I'm saying it now, that's what we're going to be called. That's our new legal name. Although with the paperwork has not been returned from the Secretary of State, I think that it's gone through from what I heard. And as you know, our struggles are many as a Chamber of Commerce. We tend to not be the same as other organizations, and those other organizations don't like it. So they've come after us a couple times, and we're happy to oblige them. If they have questions for us, we love to answer. I don't consider them competition by any means, but when the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce had some words for us, they asked the very upset and angry attorney, the Hammer, to come and talk to me. Basically, they asked me to change my name. So we did, and no problem. I'll call myself something else. I can keep changing my name as many times as people want. It's no big deal because this Chamber of Commerce is really about our guests and our members, really our members. You know, I said guests, but truly our members are the ones that make this Chamber of Commerce work. So you can call us what you want to call us. Let me tell you a little bit about the benefits and one of the reasons why people get upset. One of them is this actual show, this program. There are very few chambers of commerce that actually truly feature their members. They'll talk about stuff and events and the sponsors, et cetera, but this program here is designed for and specifically created to give our members a platform so that our members can tell their story and actually have some credibility with a lot of their prospects and a lot of the people out in the community. So this Chamber of Commerce does that for sure different. And we also have a real pride in our ability to pull off some good events. We do things like ribbon cuttings and other events for members that other organizations don't do. So I know that these things really matter to our members, and they also get the attention of other people because we do a lot of stuff also on Facebook. If you haven't seen us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, we really use that media to the max as best we can. So these are some things that we do that are different than other chambers of commerce. Try it. Go to your Chamber of Commerce and say, hey, what have you done for me lately? I want to be on the radio, or I want a ribbon cutting, or I want you guys to do a reception at my location, and gauge their answer. We are 235, about 240, I should be saying, members strong. We're a year and 1 month old. I'm starting to get the Facebook memory thing, you know? So anyway, I'm starting to know that we are on Facebook as a 1 year old organization. And like I said, we've dodged, a few complaints about people just like any other business would, but we're successful, we're happy, and we're growing. So we invite you, if you're not a member, to please consider joining us. If you are a member, consider asking about becoming a part of the radio program. We have people here every week, and we're happy to talk to you and other members as well. I want to be sure that you know about a few things that are coming up. But before I tell you about the things that are coming up, let me talk briefly about our guests. I'm not sure if you tried to cough, Robert, but you could hear everything. So I think he pushed the cough button to make it sound louder or something. Anyway, we're here with Robert and Charlotte Ortiz. They are with Life, and that is the name of their company. And I think it's Living Intentionally
for Excellence.
For excellence. There you go. So Living Intentionally for Excellence. They will explain in a moment. But I've known Robert and Charlotte for a few years now, and I know them to be incredibly capable leaders, people that really care about others, and who have a particular concern right now with their business and what they're doing to provide as much financial literacy as they possibly can, because as most people would know, most of us have very, very little training in financial matters. And of course, the Hispanic community is no different. And because we grow up a certain way as a culture, we're not necessarily taught to count things from the beginning when we're being educated. Kids can either be reared to be good employees, or they can be reared to be good business people. And for the most part, we're taught to be good employees. And we're not, like for example, as a child, do you teach your kid how to sweep and mop, or do you teach your kid how to count fruit, for instance, right? Or how to count something? Are you teaching them math and the skill of business, or do you teach them something else? Our culture tends to teach work ethic as being the most important value in our culture, one of the most important values in our culture. And that what it does is it creates a good workforce. So we're a good workforce, but we don't save, we don't know what to do with our money, et cetera. And I know this is part of their mission. They'll be talking to us a lot about that in a few minutes. But first, I just want to say welcome. Charlotte, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Carlos.
And Robert, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos.
Thanks for being a part of the big program. We really appreciate it.
Love being here. Thank you for inviting us.
So just real quick, before we begin with all your stuff, I want to comment to you the things that are happening right now at the Chamber. A few things. 240 members. 200, and now, of course, I just said the Gulf Coast Hispanic Chamber. So why do you smile, Charlotte?
No, I love that. I mean, I basically, I remember when you were, in a sense, dreaming up the idea of the Hispanic Chamber, because you're right. Other Chamber of Commerce, and I'm not, trying to be negative or say anything derogatory towards them, but they don't target people's businesses the way they need to be targeted. And you, being the type of business that you did, there really was no recognition for you within other chambers in the area. And so you decided to do this. You had a vision and you went after it.
And still going.
And still going, and through all the, the mountains and valleys and everything, you just keep overcoming. And I love the fact that, now we're going coastal. We're going Gulf Coast. Yeah. It's no longer, North Houston, how it was in the beginning. It's no longer Woodlands-Conroe. Now it's Gulf Coast. Keep going. Yeah. Next thing you know, we're going to be national, and it's just going to,
giant Texas thing.
Exactly.
Well, but that's what we do as Hispanics when we get upset in general. We just make a bigger thing. For example, one in Dallas that had a fight, one Chamber of Commerce got into a fight, they split up. So they became also like the North Texas gigantic thing of the Western Hemisphere. One here in local, National Association of something or other, the leadership sort of had a difference in opinion. So one part of the leadership broke off and became the global Hispanic thing, So we tend to go bigger. And I didn't ever want to become a part of that, but I had no choice. It was either get minute, tiny, or just do a bigger thing, And because their attorneys suggested it, I have it in writing where they said, you should just be called this and we won't have a problem with you. I said, good, that's what I'll do. All right, so anyway, that's neither here nor there right now. Guys, for sure, what I wanted to be sure that we acknowledge is how long you've been in the Chamber and the fact, Robert, that you are the Vice President of the Ambassador Program and that you help our members with all kinds of different questions. Tell us a little bit about what's been your experience recently with the Ambassador Program. What have you seen?
Absolutely, Dr. Carlos. We have, my wife and I obviously are very, very busy, so we have to be real selective on what we're involved in. And when when Charlotte mentioned that you dreamed up this idea, I thought, one is a fantastic idea. The idea of you taking an original idea, a better mousetrap, if you will, and just doing something a little bit differently and creating something as you have had with the Chamber. And I love the exposure that you give to the members. It's something that you don't get any other chamber. Obviously the radio program. In addition to that, the events. There's always events happening, and the exposure that you give businesses. Originally, when Chamber of Commerce started out, that's what it was. It was about commerce, about creating business, about helping business. And so I think we may somehow have lost that somewhere, but you're actually bringing that back with what you're doing with the Chamber and the events, and we commend you for that, Dr. Carlos.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Just in case people don't know the story, just real quick, I went to a couple of well-known chambers to try to become involved as a member. So I paid a few $1,000s at one, and they gave me an acrylic plaque and a kick in the pants. So I said, okay, well, that didn't work. And so I went all the way downtown, and the Downtown Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is, in their mind, the Hispanic Chamber. The thing is, the word Hispanic, or just Chamber of Commerce, has a whole different connotation or meaning for them than it does for me. But anyway, I'll explain in a second. I show up to their office and I stood in their lobby for 40 minutes and nobody paid attention to me. Nobody even talked to me. And so on my way down from the elevator, I was thinking to myself, that's it. We're starting a thing, right? And that's what this Chamber of Commerce was born. So yes, the full intention is to create business, to help business, to protect business, but small business owners, not necessarily BP and the Texans and all these cool organizations that pay a lot of money to the Houston Hispanic Chamber. So when we come back, though, we'll talk more specifically with Robert and Charlotte about their business, and we'll learn more about life and its purpose and its goals. We'll be right back.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
And we're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez. Hello, everybody. This is the Hispanic Chamber Connection, and that was a very brief break we just took. I was struck earlier by something our producer Jake said. When he read the weather, he said, "Well, I see daylight outside," and he did. There is daylight. Look, we're overseeing the great city of Conroe. We're downtown Conroe. This is Main Street, and this is a wonderful, beautiful town where people do more business than you can even imagine. It's a pretty incredibly vibrant town as well. So, and that requires many different types of services, many different types of businesses. And the business we're talking about today is, in essence, it's an information business, right? So you provide learning, you provide teaching, things like that. But that's about all I know. So before we talk about the events we're having and everything else, Robert or Charlotte, would you tell us what specifically is Life? What is it?
Again, you mentioned earlier, Dr. Carlos, Life is living intentionally for excellence. We are a personal, professional, and financial development company. So we will help people not only get better, have that better relationship with their family or with their spouse or with their children, but in addition to that, we will help them get that raise, get that promotion at work, that well-deserved raise or promotion. And then also the counsel with financial, find out that you're running out of money before you run out of month, kind of thing. So helping people understand that and get them more literate with the idea of money in general.
Okay, so basically, you guys teach others a little bit of like maybe life skills, things like that.
Yeah, it's coaching, but it's also a self-directed education, and it's on a pricing point to where everybody can afford it, whether or not you make a six-figure income as a business owner, or you're a stay-at-home mom trying to squeeze $4 into $1. We teach people how to do that.
Stay-at-home mom. What about a stay-at-home dad?
Or a stay-at-home dad
Okay,
too.
so
There's a
okay.
lot
You
of stay-at-home
can do
dads.
this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's cool. Okay, we'll come right back to that then.
Sure.
Let me first explain a few things that are happening at the Chamber, because we're excited. Well, tonight we have a networking event at Longhorn Steakhouse. Longhorn Steakhouse and Billy Banks, who is their managing partner, has been a wonderful supporter of our Chamber. I just kicked my chair, sorry. He's been a wonderful supporter of our Chamber and very helpful to us. And they open their doors and they always give us, appetizers, and they're really hospitable to all our members. But the point of that meeting is networking. And you guys do a lot of networking.
Absolutely.
So what has your experience been in the Woodlands on networking? How have you guys felt about the Woodlands? And to me, it's saturated, man. I at some point, it just gets too much because people have too many choices, and that makes it harder for all of us to decide where to go. So I used to set up events, and I'd get 30 people show up with not a problem, 30, 40, 50 people. Now I'm challenged with all kinds of other groups showing up and popping up here and there, and then you don't really know the quality of the groups, or you show up and it's a thing, somebody's selling something and you're in, so you can't run. So anyway, what's been your experience with networking here in the Woodlands?
Well, in
Conroe.
Okay, Conroe has been. I've actually known Conroe. I used to live up in Conroe for quite a number of years, and Conroe has always been. You mentioned earlier, Dr. Carlos, a very resilient city. They have built huge businesses here, and you still have that hometown feel of having a smaller city with Conroe. But what I found with a lot of the networking is we have to make sure that that we're actually going to the right events. I know that with the Hispanic Chamber events, with a lot of the other events I go to, I'm not allowed to perhaps speak or even offer my services up in addition to the Hispanic Chamber. It's such a setting that I'm able to not only introduce myself, but get to know the others that are involved or the others that have come to attend the event as well.
No, I agree. One of the things that, I've learned through networking is you will see the same people kind of over and over and over, and you kind of form a family,
Sure.
But at some point you have to come out of that association if you want to grow.
Right.
You can only grow so far, when you're limited to your exposures.
Sure.
So that's why I'm excited that, we're going to be called the Gulf Coast. That's amazing.
Huge, gigantic.
It's huge.
We'll see what happens.
So I'm excited to go along the Gulf Coast and then grow.
All the way down to Galveston.
That's
Absolutely.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. Something, and then now I do want to say something quickly about networking and all that. The reason why you do see the same faces and the same things happen over and over again has a lot to do with what happens at the meetings. If all you do is go to meetings and give out business cards and hope that gets you business, that's a huge mistake. And when the meetings are not properly facilitated, and I always say, if at a meeting you're not getting what you want, stop going to that meeting. If you need love, get a dog. You know what I mean? It's don't go to meetings just to be loved, because that's okay, but that's not going to make you any money, and that's going to be a problem. So
Right.
I always tell people, look at who the leaders of the groups are and what are they doing for the group. Then if they're just organizing, then they're a party planner, and that's okay if you want a party planner. But if you want people to love you, okay, why don't you sell ice cream, right? So that'll get people to love you.
Right.
But don't think that networking is going to do it for you or business. So in our events, we always make it a point to make sure that our members talk and that they introduce themselves. And if they don't introduce themselves with the right results, we talk to them about looking for ways, and we help them sort of hone in their message and what they're saying. So anyway, that's a big deal about networking. On Thursday, we have lunch at Vintage Park. Vintage Park, 11:30 to 1 p.m. You've been to those, Robert?
Yes, I have.
So again,
Fantastic event.
yeah, they're not that gigantic or anything where you can't talk to each other. And that's the whole point. If 10 or 15 of us are seated at the same table, we can actually have a discussion about your business and about things that are going on. Right? And that's another one of the reasons why we like small groups.
Yeah, I think when people are going to events, they're looking at that. We've been to the ones that have been to 60, 70, 80 people. It ends up being a card fest, if you will, just handing out cards. That's not my intent to go there. My intent to go there is to find 4 or 5 key relationships. So even the size of the event doesn't matter. It's about the amount of people, the relationships and building with those people at those events.
And not hopefully, but usually, we have people that are new, people that you guys can talk to and everything else. New people make a big difference to every single networking group. New people always make a big difference. So what we tell our members, we implore our members, we tell guys, I don't know your sister. And if she's in business, bring your sister, because that opens opportunity, for all of us, and even for her. So even at a minimum, if you're listening to us right now, please invite your friends, invite your colleagues, and we'll buy them lunch. We'll buy them a drink, but bring them out, because I want them to be exposed to the other members, and also, of course, they want to be exposed to all these people too. So that makes a big difference. At BNI, come on, they salivate over new members, new people. When new people show up, everybody's like, the new people, Unfortunately, with new people, the way they're necessarily treated is not always the best. Sometimes things happen. It's a normal group like all others, but new people are given a lot of importance, right? So we do the same thing at the chamber, but we do the best we can to help the new people be and feel comfortable, feel welcome, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So that they'll come back, and that's what this is all about. So the fight really isn't for the members you already have. The fight is for the new members.
Right.
Right.
And the growth.
And the thing is, most people forget that.
It's
Think
true.
about the leadership, what are they thinking and everything else. They're thinking about other things, not new and growth. And this is how it is. So anyway, that's Thursday. Friday, we have Café Contigo. Café Contigo is breakfast. It's coffee with you in Spanish, and that's in Houston. It's going to be in Midtown, a place called Luna y Sol. You've never been. We get 10, 15, 20 people there, same thing. Basically, we have coffee, breakfast, and it's in Houston, right? That's Midtown. I know I can't say the word Houston because then, they'll get mad at me and send me a letter. But Houston it is. It's in Houston, and that's all there is to it. Houston. We'll see you on Friday. All right. Next Monday, 8:30 a.m., we have a special blogging seminar coming up for chamber members from 8:30 to 10:30 at the chamber offices. You guys missed a great one if you didn't go to the video seminar we had this Monday. We had a professional videographer was there talking to us about how to do videos for YouTube and how to do videos to promote your business. We're going to have him back because he's a member, and we're very fortunate to have him. It's Bubarusa Productions. You met him?
Yeah, he's super awesome. Highly
John
recommended.
Bishop?
Yep, John Bishop.
And
Ogden.
Ogden Mihai.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
So John and Ogden, you guys met him. Where'd you guys meet him?
I met them at the Synergy group out here. Another
Synergy.
networking group up here in Colorado.
Another network. Right. The other one up the street. Synergy.
Right.
They're a good group. They're a group of friends, for sure.
Absolutely.
They
Great
have-
people.
Yeah, they have a great purpose and all, you know. So you met them there. They're cool people, too. So, Charlotte, where'd you meet them?
Another networking group.
Oh, was it BNI? See, so, ladies and gentlemen, you're talking to people here that network 3 to 5 times a week. And you know,
Yes.
so they can tell you a few things about networking, for sure. All right, so we were talking about tonight. The final thing we already said is next Monday. And so that's what's going on at the Chamber. So, Robert, in essence, you behave a different way at the Chamber that we asked you to as the VP of ambassadors. Basically, what announcements do you make when you?
What I do at the chamber is I not only announce what the benefits of the chamber are, but how they can how somebody wants to be more involved in just becoming networking with us. Right? If they'll notice when they come to a chamber event, they'll notice right away that the way things are conducted differently there, and I offer invite them as well to come in and be part of that, to come in and expose them, really be a further extension of yourself to Dr. Carlos, and expose them to the benefits that they can get with the chamber.
Right.
And which is, again, the chamber has just done an amazing job.
And you do a great job of that.
I appreciate that.
I think a lot of people look up to you, and you just have to recognize that for yourself to realize that you have a lot of power in front of groups and a lot of people. And I know you recognize that. I'm not here trying to just therapy or anything, but it's important just to understand that because people can listen to this forever. It's going to be on YouTube for a long time and everything else, that your potential is being realized already. You know, when people tell you have a lot of potential, I think that's when you're like 20 years old. Now at 40, it better be realized. And it's happening
Absolutely.
now, you know? So a lot of the work you're doing, it's great work. Not anybody can do the type of thing you guys are doing. You know, it's hard to do too when you're doing your own business and things like that. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. Get real clear on what kind of work you guys do with life, what kind of groups you talk to, and hopefully invite some people to come out and listen to you.
Fantastic.
So we'll talk about that when we come back in just a few seconds. We'll be right back.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
And this is Dr. Carlos Sanchez with the Hispanic Chamber Connection. And we're here with Robert Ortiz and with Charlotte Ortiz. They are with Life. And they're going to be talking to us just briefly about what life is and how life works and what kind of a company, and also what kind of a company it is, and et cetera, et cetera. So, Robert, if you would, or Charlotte, please tell us just a little bit about the overall purpose of Life.
Sure, Dr. Carlos. Life, live intentionally for excellence. We are a personal, professional, financial development company. I realized that the information that I was receiving was not getting me the results I wanted in life. Therefore, I needed to have different information. The definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So I knew that I had to not only associate myself with different people, but get around different information to get to have that different result, and that's what we do. But again, with respect to personal, professional, and then financial development.
Okay, so basically you take a person or a group of people and help them sort of understand and get better results from their personal, professional development? Is that
Exactly,
correct?
yeah,
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay, and so this company then, is it a franchise or how does it work? You guys
Similar
owners?
to that, yeah, similar to that. It's similar to a franchise. That's exactly right, and that's what we've done. But and we have just my wife and I, again, very busy, but we knew that the results my family had achieved that at that point in my life were not what I wanted. So therefore, I needed to get around again, different people to have that different information being infused into my head. Now I can have a different result,
Sure.
different having a mentor, having somebody that different information. I was coming out of college. After that, I was the president of Mino Read Club. I didn't read after that, and that was a biggest mistake,
right?
biggest mistake I ever made. So until I started reading books and realized that there's a lot of information in those books to, again, garner a different result in life.
Right. That's something that impressed me about you, Charlotte, also when I met you a couple of years ago through one of our networking groups, which shall not be named because we already talked about them, that you are a big reader, a big avid reader also. Is this something you continue doing through life?
Well, the interesting thing is, although he was the president of Mino Read Club, I think I was the vice president of Mino Read Club because, going through college and so forth, I said, I'm never going to pick up another book again. Why do I need to?
Sure.
Why? Because the information I was getting from all the people that I was surrounded with, we were out partying and having fun and this and that. Who wants to get better? I did good just graduating where I graduated in high school and college. I got a degree. Woohoo! I'm better than everybody else, right? No. To me, I don't want to throw college under the bus, but sometimes I feel that the education that I got in college was overly priced because the education that I've got just by picking up books that are free at the library have taught me more in the short period of time that I've been a reader than the whole time I was in school.
Okay.
So, there are some fundamentals and everything, but no, I really enjoy reading now. It started out as, our mentor told us, okay, well, and we said, oh yeah, we don't read, because he said, hey, what's the most latest book that you read?
Right.
And we're like, we don't read. He goes, well, I know, I can tell.
Or what most people say, the Bible. I'm reading the Bible. Like, yeah, right. Okay, so go read your Bible. And and it's with all respect that I say that though, but I do kind of cringe every time someone says that to me because I know it's not true. Because half the things in the Bible you don't understand anyway. That's why you go to to priests and to pastors and to ministers and to
help
explain it
understand
to you.
Right.
And all of a sudden now you read the Bible every day. Okay. So, Robert, tell us then, when somebody comes to you and wants to talk to you, what kind of an approach do you take with people? Do you do an assessment or something? How do you know what they need?
Absolutely, Dr. Carlos. We'll sit down and kind of see what their goals are. We feel that somebody doesn't have the goals set, not only daily goals, but weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. Right? We got to find out where you're at and what do you want to achieve? What is your end purpose? Right? What's your passion? What do you want to do? I found that a lot of people they'll wonder why the shoes don't fit. Right? They'll go to that same job for the next 20 or 30 years. It's because they weren't meant to do that. They were meant to do something else, but yet they get settled in, they get complacent where they're at. And so if they'll just go out and seek what they truly want, and then that's their passion. That's what we help draw it out of them.
And so, do you have like a system for helping them understand what their passion really is?
Absolutely, we do. Yeah,
Okay.
we have something set up that we can evaluate with. Not only with books, we have events, we have CDs. We can help somebody. Again, it's that infusion of different information into you to help you achieve something different.
Right. That's what I was going to tell Charlotte too. I know that you're a big reader now, and I love to read as well, but I have very little time. But for me, time also, I spend a lot of time in my car, so I listen to a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the problems I have. I have too many CDs in my car. Just everywhere. And so is that do you guys use that format as well? Is that
Yes,
some of the
absolutely, Dr. Cross. That's what we've done. We've created a university on wheels, if you will, because we spend in Houston, or for instance, or wherever you're driving to, you at least have a half an hour a lot of times in traffic. And so we have to pump that CD in and you're listening to something different as opposed to what you're listening before. So hopefully achieve what you want.
I also understand then that you guys are working a lot more specifically with people on financial literacy. Have you found that this is one of the more needed programs that you have? Are a lot of people appreciating what you're doing with financial literacy?
Absolutely, Dr. Carlos. We're it's not that we don't know what we don't know, and so a lot of times we'll be talking to somebody, and they know absolutely the dollar doesn't come with any instructions, right? So they'll know absolutely nothing about money. So we go in and we'll evaluate where they're at, and again, what they're trying to results, what they want to achieve. Mm-hmm. And so when we go in, we will not only help them understand money, but go into more of the offense, defense, and the playing field. We understand that if you can understand the offense, you can understand the defense, but if you don't understand how the game is played, you're going to get beat every time.
Okay, so you use financial literacy as part of your program, the bigger program, and so what does this produce generally for someone who doesn't understand money, for instance?
Well, that's exactly who it's for.
Right.
So
what does it do for them?
Okay, so I'll put me as an example. So, I went to college and everything that everybody told me to do. And I say everybody, society,
Sure.
You want to get an education, get a good job, and so forth. Well, what I didn't understand is the job that I get will start to define the life that I live, my lifestyle, the cars I can drive, the house I can buy, and things like that. I can't have a millionaire lifestyle, on a $60,000 a year, income, right? So, you have to want to be able to achieve more. And the thing about about financial literacy is that there's a lot of things that go on in regards to media. Okay, so if you notice when you're watching TV, for instance, and I know you don't watch much TV like we don't, but let's say you're watching TV and you see a commercial, it doesn't tell you that a truck is $60,000 a year. It tells you how much the financing is for well-qualified buyers. Really low. And so basically, it kind of gets everybody in. It's like, if I can afford the monthly payments, I can afford this.
Sure.
That right there is myth number one. That's not true. I mean, it's kind of interesting. If you go back to the days of my grandmother never financed anything. Everything was cash. You didn't have the cash, you don't get it. Delayed gratification. And she wasn't in a world of debt. She had zero debt, owed nobody anything, And so basically, it's for people that don't understand money. And that's exactly where I was, because I was really far in debt and I had no idea I was that far in debt. And so it teaches people simple things like track your expenses. A lot of people don't track their expenses. I know that I didn't, and I was surprised at how much money I was spending. I'm going to say it, at Starbucks. I love coffee, but then I realized that my cup of Folgers was going to save me some money, but just the money that I would spend that I didn't even realize I was spending. That's one of the biggest things. So it starts with little small increments that anybody can start with, and then it goes into the bigger things. Trouble?
The automatic draft stuff.
Yeah.
It just comes off your bank account without you even thinking about it. And sometimes I've seen what mine are. I'm like, oh my God, I hate these things because they just come out of nowhere. Boom, $200. Like, what?
How do you stop it?
5
if
years
you want
ago.
a realization, Carlos, start writing down everything you spend on, for instance, June 1, all the way through end of June. Write down every single thing, anywhere from any kind of purpose to automatic draft down to a pack of gum. Write that down and watch what you spend at the end of the month.
And one of the things I've noticed is that when I tell people to start tracking, even at myself, when we tell people to start tracking their expenses, they start becoming more conscious about it. So then I say, okay, now that you've tracked it for a month, go back to your bank account and go back to your bank statements. Now let's go through that. And we don't want to do it. We don't want to, pry, and analyze people's statements for them. But we'll tell them to analyze their statements, see where your spending habits were. And then when you realize that you have to track it, where are they now? Now think of where they could be. Look at all that money that you spent going out that could have been coming into your home.
Okay.
We find people that says, oh man, I can't even afford to pay the light bill. Now they have $200 and $300 coming into their bank account every month.
So you guys talk to them about all this using that program, Robert?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dr. Carlos. What we'll do is we'll go in. There's 47 principles. Again, I mentioned
47
principles. I want to mention
Maybe I know too.
Is that a lot of these people will follow into the same lines as their parents, right? The same understanding of money. So if the parents didn't understand money, unfortunately, you're probably not going to understand money either. And that's one of the problems. So what we'll do is we'll go into and educate people, because the principle never changes, right? So we'll go in and explain this to somebody and say, look, just follow the principles, self-directed, right? It's not self-help, it's self-help, right? Go in there, follow the principles, not only to walk yourself right out of debt, walk yourself out of making more money, pay less taxes, because that's what it's about. We're just trying to educate people into a better life. I mean, 8 out of 10 people are deep in debt, and they're just 2-3 weeks sometimes away from bankruptcy, if you will. So again, what we're trying to do is educate people and get them to understand that there's a better life out there. You don't have to live in debt like that.
Okay, and so what do I need to do to obtain this program if I wanted it?
Contact myself, and so contact myself at 936-697-1463. You contact me there. You're also able to go to regretmydebt.com, and you can get a sampling of not only the programs that I have out there as well.
Okay, give me the number again, because I couldn't write it down. My pen didn't work.
936-697 1463.
1463. Ask for Robert, and Robert will tell you about how to get a hold of his programs and what to do with them. And this is a nationally recognized program as well, Robert.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we are actually in 19 different countries.
Including Mexico.
Yeah, including Mexico, Peru. We just opened up in France, and we're about to go into Italy. Again, because you're not seeing the localized recessions anymore. You're not seeing those localized problems anymore.
Global.
It happened in 2008. It started to be global. What happened in Greece, what's happening in China, all that. A lot of repatriation of gold. Countries pulling their gold back. Mm-hmm. And so we're starting to see that we're going into a different time. And so we need to be prepared.
So are you saying that the world is there's a global recession right now? Is that something that's being understood by the economists?
Yeah, what's happening is we're seeing a lot of that. What's happening right now is a lot of the same with debt. For instance, debt is sitting 20 trillion. With unfunded liabilities, we're going well over into 100 trillion. It becomes a runaway train at that point, right? So what happens is, again, there's no way to stop it. So unfortunately, something my feeling is there's something coming. Hopefully we can, but we're just trying to help people understand money so they can weather themselves through it better.
Okay, so very good. So your programs can prepare people for that. You take people like a regular household and say, okay, we're going to put you through, we're going to help you go through a financial fitness program.
Right.
And that will stabilize their finances, help them get out of debt, and what? Maybe achieve their goals.
The possibility is endless. It's whatever their goals is. One of the things that we sit down and talk to people is we said, well, what's your why power? Because willpower can only take you so far. Ask anyone that's ever dieted. Ask Rob and I. Willpower's only got us so far. In our healthy lifestyle and decisions and stuff. You have to have your why power. What's going to drive you? And so, one of the biggest things is finances is huge when it comes to families and the economy and churches and everything. Everything has to do with money, people and money. And so whatever their dream is, the possibilities are endless. This is one part of it that's going to help them achieve that.
Very good. Okay, and so as such, then what kind of people should contact you?
Everybody.
Well, be more specific. If you tell
To narrow it down, Dr. Carlos.
If you tell me everybody, nobody will do it.
The people that are ready.
Right?
When we first went to our mentor, he asked me one question: "Are you ready?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Ready for what?
We're ready for the decision to have a different lifestyle, not to live like that anymore, not to have to. Again, I mentioned earlier, not have to worry about the money running out for the month does. Not to have to live like that anymore. So that's what we're looking for: people who are ready to change themselves, ready to do something different in life, where they don't have to live day to day, month to month, so to speak.
Okay. All right. So if someone wants to get a hold of you because they can't make ends meet, they take their cell phone, which costs them $100 a month, and they call 936-697-1463, right?
Absolutely, yes.
They'll get a hold of you. You'll sit with them. And what do you explain to a person on the first visit?
Well, what I do is we sit down again. We evaluate where they want to be. We evaluate how they got there. Everything where we are in life are just small decisions that has got us there. Right. And so we backtrack a little bit, and we determine, what's most important to them. What's their immediate goal? What do they want to do? How do they want to live? Because again, Charlotte mentioned earlier, is we find that finances affect marriages, finances affect families, and so if we can start there, if we can help alleviate some of that worry, some of that derogatory things you bring home with you all the time, we can help you get out of that. We can also help go in depth in the family.
Very good. So we're here with Robert Ortiz, with Charlotte Ortiz, with Life. They're talking to us about how they help people get out of debt and how they help them improve the quality of their lives. When we come back, we'll talk more directly and more specifically about how you can be a part of their meetings, be a part of their company, and a lot more. We'll be right back.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
And we're back. This is Dr. Carlos Sanchez, and we're here today with Robert Ortiz, with Charlotte Ortiz, with Life. Their company is Life. Charlotte, you can do that again, please, because I'm now very narrow.
Oh.
So I can only catch one of you at the same. There you go. That's better. So I'm hoping this will have enough memory to work. My phone, for whatever reason, gets saturated very quickly. Maybe I take too many pictures, and it just stops. But it doesn't tell me when it stops recording. Now I'm on Facebook Live. What I hope is going to happen now is people can hear you, see you live, and hopefully if they want to make any comments, they can. We have a few minutes still on the show. This is the Hispanic Chamber Connection. We are the Woodlands-Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce still. But we're also the Heights and the Vintage Park and the Galleria and the Spring Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. soon to be the one and only Gulf Coast Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. When that legally happens, we'll let you know. But right now, we're just chatting here with Robert and Charlotte about their financial leadership program, and my phone just stopped working again. So that's okay. Look, the thing is, it's being recorded in every place anyway. This is just cool because people can see you right now. But Robert, tell us again then, all right, who specifically, we said, anyone willing to make a decision to change their life, for now from a financial standpoint, for sure. Do you guys have meetings and stuff like that, like public, like people can just come out and say, okay, I want to try you out first?
Sure, absolutely, Dr. Carlos.
When are these meetings?
We have a meeting every Tuesday at Harvest Time Church in the Greens Point area. And we also have I also am conducting a meeting locally in the Woodlands. Contact me for information with that. In addition to that, I have one in Pasadena going on right now as well.
Pasadena. So you guys go all the way to Pasadena?
Yes.
You know what's in Pasadena?
I
A
know
lot
it.
of people who need our help.
You need a mayor down there. Something. Did they get the right mayor after all? I'm not sure what happened. They were just voting for someone. No? You guys don't know? Don't matter. So you're in the Woodlands. I know. I thought maybe you knew from Pasadena. They had a whole controversy going on because they have this.
Can I phone a friend on that one? Hold on. Let me call Mr. Pasadena. I have a friend named Elias, and he keeps us abreasted on everything down
there.
there.
He doesn't know, he better, because it was going to be a whole different representation of the town of Pasadena. Before it was all being elected as single. Doesn't matter what the technical words are. Basically, you had 4 or 5 white guys running Pasadena, and they were going to change the whole city council into a bunch of Hispanic people. So it was going to shift big time.
Oh.
Since nobody knows about this, we'll continue. So, Robert, okay. You said you have something in the Woodlands. What part of the Woodlands? And,
we're right there. We are at Borough Park, so we are one block off of 545 right there at Sawdust.
And what is the meaning of this meeting you have?
The meeting is just, it's really informal, just to sit down in really a group session, just to sit down and discuss what the current problems people are having. The certain issues. You'll find that a lot of times with the problems that they're having can be expressed with each individually. We're all having kind of the same problem, the same way to get going.
You know, for whatever reason right now, Tommy Woolley with Synergent, you know him,
yes.
right? He's an accounting firm. He's one of our members also. And Bob Riley are online right now. I'm not sure how they got back and why my Facebook Live is working, guys, but thank you again for being a part of this program. So's Angie. You don't know who that is, but because I don't know her last name. We have like 5 Angies, and my sister's name Angie too. So, Angie, just tell us your last name, and we'll say hi to you on the air. So we're talking here with Robert and Charlotte Ortiz. They're talking to us about their financial fitness system. They are with Life, that's living intentionally for excellence.
Good job, Carlos.
And I'm remembering it because it's a fun acronym. And we're talking about Robert and the meetings you have, Robert, here local. You guys both conduct these meetings?
Absolutely.
So what can one expect to learn when I visit?
Well, one, we're just going to do an informal introduction, just to see, again, just to meet each other, and just also to get your views, and just leave it. We want to have it like an open forum, because we don't want to make it look like we're talking down to somewhere, we're teaching at you, right? We want to introduce it to where we can get your feedback, and we can understand where your problems are coming from, to be able to help you, right? That's our initial what we talk about with people.
Okay, so that didn't tell me anything.
It's more like a mastermind event. It's a question and answer kind of thing.
Okay, what are you questioning and what are you answering? What is the topic? What is the content? What do you talk about?
Every week we change it. It's always a financial topic, but we'll change it. It might be like 2 particular principles that someone can use, like what I described to you earlier.
There are plenty of principles.
There's plenty of principles, exactly. So like the first one is track your expenses. You know, there's not a whole lot of people who do that. You know, I encourage you to do it, Carlos.
I have to, legally. Don't worry.
I'll keep you accountable on that one. Delayed gratification. And so basically we can take these 2 principles and we can break it down, to make it more simple, because if people can just get at least 2 baby principles started, a little footstep in the right direction makes tremendous difference.
Let's be clear though. When I go to your meeting, you're going to teach me how to have financial literacy. Is that what's happening?
We're going to get you started. Absolutely. Right. And Charlotte brings up a very good point, is that to go into, we're going to absorb the book, because the kit has a workbook, and 8 CDs, right? So we want you to, if all you can do is read the first chapter, read the first 2 or 3 principles to get started, right? Pay yourself first, right? Things like that. Just to get something to get started. Start with the first step, right? It's first decision to make to become financially literate.
And so, what does this thing cost? If I want to go, is it free? Do you feed me? What's the benefit to me?
Our program is our meetings are free.
Okay.
Our meetings are free to attend, free to the public to come in and get some financial literacy.
In general, the one up here in this part of town, Conroe, Woodlands, what time is it and where?
It actually is Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. Contact me in case times change.
6 p.m.?
6 p.m. And then Thursday it is in Pasadena. off the Beltway at 7:30.
All right, stay with the Woodlands. Stay with up here, because right now, most of our listenership
Sure.
is up in this area.
Absolutely.
The big idea then is, if I want to attend, should I contact you, or do I just show up?
No, I would contact me to make
Okay,
sure that
so give me your number again,
Yeah,
please.
okay, it's 936-697-1463.
We're talking to Robert and Charlotte Ortiz about financial literacy. They have a full program with 47 principles you can use immediately to gain mastery over your finances, to get out of debt, to finally be able to make all your payments, to not worry about money so much, and to be more successful in overall life. And they'll teach you all this. And all you need to do is just attend one of their meetings and just get involved with them. So thank you again, Robert and Charlotte, for being on the show.
Thank you for having us,
Thank you for
Carlos.
having us, Dr. Carlos.
So that was the finance. I mean, that was, I don't know how it worked, but it did. It ended up working. So we had like 6 people before I cut them off on Facebook
The joys
Live.
of technology, right,
Well,
Jacob?
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Who knows? Anyway, all right. So Robert and Charlotte, at this meeting of yours, do you actually provide coffee and water, or what do you give? What do you
Yes,
give?
coffee and water are provided. Coffee and water provided. Even a
Cookies?
chair. Even
No.
a chair to sit in.
Even a chair.
Right, even a chair.
Well, look, there's expectations, right? And if it's at 6 p.m. and you're not going to feed me, I need to know, because that way I'll stop by Taco Cabana and load up. So that's why I'm saying. That's why I ask you if you feed people and what you do, because trust me, guys. I do these things all the time, and I always get people asking the same questions. Where's the food? And if I don't have minimum pigs in a blanket, they get attitude. You know what I mean? So chips, stuff like that. So maybe there's something like that for them. At least
Yeah,
they have water.
absolutely. That's right. People are busy, so we want to be respectful of their time as well. So we want
Sure.
to make sure that we get in there, we get taken care of what we need to take care of, and then we get you back
Let me ask
home.
you guys this. This is a pretty important question. Most people are willing to disclose everything about their lives, including their sex life and all kinds of stuff, before they'll talk about their finances. How do you guys break through that? What do you do to get people comfortable?
We
in
get
this?
to know them. We get to know them. We find their immediate challenges, and with maybe with their family or with their spouse or something, right? And you'll come, and inevitably finances will come up, because finances, we all have some form. We touch finances somewhere in the course of a day. We all have some interaction with money. And so when we go and try to find out a little bit about the person, try to find out their daily struggles, what they're doing, inevitably the finances will pop up somewhere in there.
Okay. And so you talk about the finances, and then you tell them about the program. Is that kind of how it works?
Exactly right. That there is a solution out there. You don't have to live, but they have to have some form of different thinking, right? They have to get themselves into some form. They have a different result. They have to have some different thinking. They have to get themselves different association.
Right.
You have to stop hanging around people that are bringing them down. And again, to get yourself around some people who are have a tendency to think differently. That forward mobility.
So do you guys have people like that around you?
Yes.
I mean, is that kind of what you do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to say,
Go ahead.
pointing to myself here.
Point to yourself.
Absolutely, the finances, or I said the financial education. My finances were a direct result of my financial education. Where did
Sure,
I get
they
my
are.
financial education? Believe it or not, even though I took accounting and I took statistics and I took all these classes for my college degree, if I would have just kind of applied some of that, it might have helped me. But instead, I went to the people that I trusted the most, my family, my parents, my mom, and I went to, some of my family members that, in the time in which, in the lifespan that, I was listening to them, they had filed bankruptcy 3 times.
Right.
So by taking their advice, you can assume where I was headed,
Right.
but I was so naive, I didn't realize that. It's because these are people that I know and that I trusted.
Good. Well, I mean, not good, but it's a great story. It's good to understand where you guys are coming from as well, that you're not some big shot who showed up to show people about money. You've actually had your own struggles, and you understand how this mechanism works. When we come back, we'll get more details, and we'll talk a lot more. Actually, we're not coming back. I was just advised that the show is over. So thank you so much for being with us. This is the Hispanic Chamber Connection. I'm Dr. Carlos Sanchez. Robert, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos, very
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Carlos.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you guys again real soon. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And here we go, signing off. Thank you again.
Thanks for checking out this recording from Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station and broadcasted live from Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. Interested in sponsoring this show, being a guest, hosting your own show? And please visit us online at irlonestar.com and check out the Contact Us page. We want to say thank you to our studio supporters. Our traffic sponsor, Conroe Americana Music Festival at conroeamericanamusicfestival.com. For more information about the show, please check out the information below in the description.